Hello and welcome to today's video lesson. Today we are going to learn about social groups. I, Richie Simon, Assistant Professor BSSS, welcome you to today's video lesson. So here you can see the outline of the presentation. After going through this presentation, you will come to know about what are social groups. You will come to know about the characteristics of social groups, the types of social groups and their importance. So let's begin with what are social groups. Here on the slide, you can see two definitions pertaining to social groups. The first one given by McIver and Page, who say that social group refers to any collection of human beings who are brought into social relationship with one another. So it's a collection of human beings, more than one person, who are brought into social relationship with one another. Moving on to the next definition that is given by Williams, a social group is a given aggregate of people playing interrelated roles and recognized by themselves or others as a unit of interaction. That means these people who are coming together as a group, they are playing interrelated roles. There is an element of reciprocity which is present there, and they do identify themselves with the groups as well as others also are able to see them as a group. If we analyze all the definitions, we will come to know that a group is a unit of social interaction. It is having a boundary and there is cohesion between the members. The members are identifying themselves to the others in the group. There is an interdependence between the members and they are existing together for some common purpose. Not just themselves, but then others outside are also able to identify themselves as a group. So let's move on with the characteristics of social groups. So here on the slide, you can see some of the major characteristics of social groups. The first point, mutual awareness. The members in a social group are aware that they are a part of the group, and they do know who all are otherwise a part of the group. So there is a sense of mutual awareness in social groups. There is a common interest. Why they are coming together, there is a purpose behind it. There is a reason behind it. There is a common interest behind it, which is making these people to stand as a group. This also brings in a sense of unity, we feeling, a connectedness that the members do have with one another, a similarity in behavior that we will be observing in case if you are observing a group, and certainly there are certain group norms what the members do follow. Having known the characteristics of social groups, let's move on to the types of social groups. One of the major classification was given by Charles H. Cooley, the gentleman that you can find here on the slide. So he actually discussed just about primary groups, and later down his colleagues conceptualized secondary groups. So now what are primary groups? Primary groups are small groups. Limited number of people are there in a primary group who develop close, personal, intimate, and enduring relationships. Some examples of primary groups are family, neighbors, work associates. Here, the members know each other on a personal level. They do have a tendency to influence the members as well. So this was conceptualized by Charles H. Cooley, and later down, what about the groups who really don't fall in this category? That is where the concept of secondary group emerges. Now, what are secondary groups? These are the large groups. where individuals act towards one another in rather impersonal, superficial, and utilitarian ways. So it's a very large group we are talking about in secondary groups. The members may or may not know all the other members of the group. That means you identify yourself with certain members, but then not with all. There is definitely the presence or absence of activeness. We will be finding some members to be actively participating in secondary groups, while some will definitely be passive members. Now here, you see the group that is in the oval shape. That's a family. This is an example of a primary group. Whereas when we talk about the bigger units, like the employees working in Google, that definitely stands as a secondary group. So across the world where people are associated with Google, they are working in this firm, they might not be knowing all the members who are there employed at Google. But then definitely some close connections with the members from their own branch, from their own concerned unit. However, apart from primary and secondary groups, there are other types of groups as well. So let's take a look at them. Here on the slide, you can see further two more categories, the open groups and the closed groups. As the name suggests, open group is something whereby the members can enter in and they can move out. Like the Salman Khan fan club. So today you are a fan of Salman Khan and you join this group. Tomorrow maybe some other actor takes on and gains popularity and the fan club will reduce. This is an example of an open group. So the membership is purely voluntary. People can join in, people can move out. The second type of group over here is the closed group. A closed group is going to have restricted membership. So you can't simply just join in this group and move out. There is restricted membership. So once you are into the group, you belong to that group. There is a sense of boundary to it. You will be knowing the members who are there in the closed group. A simple example is a class that is shown here. So you know who all are there as your classmates. You know who are your colleagues at a workplace. These are examples of closed groups. Let's move forward with two more types of groups. They are the formal groups and the informal groups. When we are talking about formal groups or informal groups, the thing that you should be keeping in mind is structure. Any group that is emerging out of the organizational structure is what you will be calling as the formal group. And anything which is not due to the organizational structure, that is the informal group. So an example of a formal group might be a department, might be a section, might be a concerned organization. And informal group will be a group of friends. Those who are joining together for some interest, because they have some similarities. That is the reason they join together. This is an example of an informal group. So these were some of the major types of social groups. Of course, there are other groups also which have been discussed by several sociologists, but here we are restricting to just these 6 types. Let's move forward with the importance of social group. So here on the slide, there are some key points coming in. Why social groups? Or what benefits do they really give? The first point, if you are a part of social group, you get a sense of belongingness. You feel that you're not alone, there are others to stand by you. The second point, enhancement of individual's capacity. Once you are into a social group, the social group members act as reference points for you. Your achievement levels, your aspirations are all altered by the group members. So this is how your individual capacities, your level of motivation is somehow changed, as well as you learn from the members present in the group. So there is an enhancement of individual's capacity. Belonging to a social group is definitely going to develop one's personality. Because you're learning from those who are around you, from those who are influencing you, and certainly that's going to impact your personality. The fourth point here is fulfillment of basic needs. We all know that man is a social animal. And when we say that, it means that a human being alone cannot exist. You have to depend on others. And in that sense, when you are connected with a social group, definitely your basic needs are met. The next point here is mutual identity and cooperation. A sense of identity, a sense of belongingness is what you get from the social groups. As well as when you are in some problem and you are seeking out solution for that, you can expect cooperation from the social groups. Social groups are also responsible for the transmission of culture. When we talk about the norms that are set by the groups, and you're talking about carrying it forward over generation, the culture is transmitted. And with social groups in place, you can also expect social control to be there. Because we always think, before taking a step, any individual will definitely be thinking, what is my family going to think about it? What is it that my friends will be thinking about if I proceed ahead in this manner? So you see, the social groups to which you belong definitely affect your behavior, and in this way we can expect some informal means of social control to be coming in place with social groups. Now let's summarize the video. So today we have learnt about the meaning of social groups. We have learnt about the characteristics of social groups. We discussed 3 types of social groups, primarily 3 types of classification, whereby 6 types were discussed. And of course, the list is not limited to this. There are further more types of social groups as well, which we are not covering in this video. And the last thing, what we learned was importance of social group. So that's all for today's video. Thank you.